Have you ever felt like you're running on a treadmill, putting in all the effort but not really going anywhere? That was me for so many years. I was searching for answers outside of myself, in success, in relationships, in achievements, hoping that something external would finally bring me that sense of peace and fulfillment I was craving. But the real shift, the most profound transformation, didn't happen until I turned my attention inward. It started with a simple, yet powerful realization. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your mindset. Your inner world doesn't just color your reality, it creates it. True, lasting freedom isn't found out there. It's built piece by piece right here within you. Over the years, through countless hours of reflection, meditation, and therapy, I began to see patterns. I started to connect the dots between my thoughts, my feelings, and my actions. I realized there were fundamental truths, core lessons, that acted as a blueprint for navigating the complexities of the human mind. These aren't quick fixes or life hacks. They are deep foundational principles that, when understood and practiced, can completely reshape your experience of life. They are the lessons that took me from a place of confusion and anxiety to a place of clarity and purpose. And today, I want to share that blueprint with you. So, I invite you to join me on this journey. Put your phone on silent, find a comfortable space, and just be present. This isn't just about listening, it's about reflecting. As we go through these lessons, I want you to think about your own life, your own patterns, your own inner world. Ask yourself, where do these ideas resonate? Where do you feel resistance? This is your opportunity to become the architect of your own mind, to build a foundation of self-awareness that will support you for the rest of your life. Let's begin. I want you to consider a simple yet profound idea. Your thoughts are the architects of your reality. Everything you see, everything you experience is filtered through the lens of your mind. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," or "this will never work out," that narrative becomes your truth. It's like wearing a pair of glasses that tints the entire world with a shade of doubt and limitation. You will unconsciously look for evidence to support that belief, and you will find it. This isn't some abstract spiritual concept. It's a fundamental principle of our psychology. The stories we tell ourselves are the most important stories we will ever hear. The beautiful thing is that we have the power to become the editors of these stories. It starts with mindfulness, with the simple act of listening to your own internal dialogue without judgment. What is the tone of your inner voice? Is it a critic or a coach? Is it a source of fear or a source of encouragement? For many of us, this inner chatter runs on autopilot, repeating old scripts we learned years ago. The first step to changing your reality is to become aware of the thoughts that are creating it. You have to hear the story before you can rewrite it. So I encourage you to practice mindful self-talk. When you catch a negative thought, don't fight it or suppress it. Simply acknowledge it. See it for what it is, just a thought, not an undeniable fact. Then, gently and intentionally, choose a different one, a more empowering one. Instead of "I can't do this," try "I can try my best." Instead of "I'm a failure," try "I am learning and growing." This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about shifting your focus from what's wrong to what's possible. You are what you think. So, what will you choose to think today? Think of your mind as a garden. What you plant in it will inevitably grow. If you plant seeds of negativity, comparison, and fear, you will harvest a garden of weeds, anxiety, resentment, and dissatisfaction. This is the principle of garbage in, garbage out. The information we consume, the conversations we engage in, the media we watch, the people we follow, all of it is mental and emotional food. And just like the food we eat affects our physical health, the content we consume profoundly affects our mental and emotional well-being. We are so careful about what we put into our bodies, but how often do we stop to consider what we are putting into our minds? I challenge you to conduct a mental diet audit. For 1 week, pay close attention to your inputs. What news are you reading? What social media accounts are you scrolling through before you sleep and as soon as you wake up? What kind of conversations are you participating in? Notice how these inputs make you feel. Do they leave you feeling inspired, energized, and expansive? Or do they leave you feeling drained, anxious, and small? You wouldn't knowingly eat poison, so why would you knowingly consume content that poisons your peace of mind? This is about being intentional. It's about curating your mental environment with the same care you would give to a sacred space. Unfollow the accounts that trigger comparison. Mute the conversations that thrive on gossip and negativity. Choose to read books, listen to podcasts, and watch videos that uplift and educate you. Surround yourself with people who discuss ideas, not just other people. By consciously choosing your inputs, you are taking control of the output. You are planting the seeds for a garden of peace, purpose, and clarity. For so long, I treated my emotions like enemies. When I felt sad, I tried to cheer myself up. When I felt anxious, I tried to distract myself. When I felt angry, I told myself it was wrong to feel that way. I saw them as problems to be solved, inconveniences to be pushed aside so I could get on with my life. But this approach is like hearing a fire alarm and just taking the batteries out. You've silenced the noise, but you haven't addressed the fire. The real breakthrough came when I realized that emotions aren't the problem. They are signals. They are messengers from our inner world, trying to deliver vital information. Every emotion you feel carries a message. Sadness might be telling you that you've experienced a loss and need to grieve. Anxiety might be signaling that you're feeling unsafe or unprepared. Joy is a signal that your needs are being met and you are in alignment with your values. The key is to stop fighting your emotions and start listening to them. Instead of asking, "How can I get rid of this feeling?" ask, "What is this feeling trying to tell me?" This simple shift in perspective moves you from a state of resistance to a state of curiosity and compassion. Learning to listen to your emotions is a practice. It requires you to sit with discomfort without immediately trying to fix it. It means allowing yourself to feel what you feel, fully and without judgment. When a wave of emotion comes, imagine you are a scientist observing a new phenomenon. Get curious about it. Where do you feel it in your body? What thoughts are attached to it? What does it want you to know? By treating your emotions as wise counselors instead of unwelcome intruders, you unlock a source of inner guidance that is always available to you, pointing you toward healing and growth. We are taught to see fear as a stop sign. It's a warning, a danger, a signal to retreat. When we feel that knot in our stomach, that racing heart, our instinct is to run in the opposite direction. But what if we've been reading the map all wrong? What if fear isn't a stop sign, but a signpost? What if fear doesn't mean turn back, but rather, pay attention, this matters? When you think about it, we rarely feel fear about things we don't care about. You don't fear failing at a job you hate. You don't fear rejection from someone you're not interested in. Fear arises precisely because something is important to you. The fear of public speaking is rooted in the desire to be heard and respected. The fear of starting a new business is rooted in a deep desire for freedom and impact. The fear of being vulnerable in a relationship is rooted in a powerful desire for connection and love. Fear and desire are two sides of the same coin. The presence of fear is actually evidence of the presence of a deep, meaningful value in your life. It's a spotlight shining directly on what you hold most dear. So, the next time you feel fear, I invite you to change your relationship with it. Don't let it be a cage that holds you back. Let it be a compass that points you forward. Instead of saying, "I'm scared, so I can't do this," try asking, "What does this fear tell me about what's important to me?" Use that answer as your fuel. Let the importance of your goal be bigger than the discomfort of your fear. When you reframe fear in this way, it transforms from an obstacle into an ally on your journey toward a life of purpose and meaning. Anger is perhaps one of the most misunderstood and maligned emotions. We're often taught that it's a negative, destructive force, something to be controlled or suppressed. We see it as a sign of being out of control, or worse, a character flaw. But just like fear, anger is not the enemy. It's a messenger, and its message is one of the most important we can receive. Anger is a loyal guardian, a powerful signal that one of your boundaries has been violated. It's a flare that goes up saying, hey, something is not right here. Your values, your time, your energy, or your sense of self has been trespassed upon. When you feel that heat rising, that clenching in your jaw, your first instinct might be to lash out or to swallow it down. I want to offer a third option. Get curious. Instead of reacting, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what boundary was just crossed? Maybe someone disrespected your time. Maybe you said yes when you really meant no. Maybe someone made a comment that undermined your values or your worth. The anger isn't the problem. It's the alarm system telling you that your personal territory needs to be defended or redefined. Understanding this allows you to use anger constructively. It becomes a tool for self-respect and for building healthier relationships. When you identify the crossed boundary, you are empowered to address the root cause. This might mean having a difficult conversation, saying no more often, or simply creating more distance from situations or people who consistently disrespect your limits. Anger, when listened to, is not about destruction. It's about preservation. It's the energy you need to protect your peace and honor your own needs. Anxiety is a state of being mentally and emotionally transported into the future, a future that is often filled with what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. It's the feeling of trying to solve problems that haven't happened yet. Think about it. When you feel anxious, where is your mind? It's rehearsing a difficult conversation. It's worrying about an upcoming deadline. It's catastrophizing about a potential failure. You are not in the present moment. You are living in a hypothetical and often terrifying future that you've constructed in your head. Your body is here, but your mind is out there, wrestling with shadows. This mental time travel is exhausting. It drains your energy and robs you of the peace and potential that exist only in the now. The feeling of anxiety, the racing heart, the shallow breath, the churning stomach, is your body's physiological response to the stressful future scenarios your mind is creating. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a real threat and a vividly imagined one. So when you are constantly living in a future filled with potential dangers, your body is in a constant state of high alert, of fight or flight. This is not a sustainable way to live. The antidote to anxiety, then, is not to try and solve every potential future problem. The antidote is to gently and compassionately guide your awareness back to the only place where you have any real power, the present moment. Anxiety is the signal that your mind has wandered too far ahead. It's a call to return home to the now. When you feel that familiar hum of anxiety begin, see it as a reminder. It's your inner guidance system saying, you've drifted into the future. Come back. Come back to your breath. Come back to your body. Come back to this moment. We've talked about how anxiety pulls you into the future, but so many of our other struggles pull us into the past. Regret, guilt, resentment, these are all states of living in a time that no longer exists. Our minds become museums of past hurts and mistakes, and we wander their halls day after day, reliving what we cannot change. The past is a place of learning, but it is not a place to live. All of your power, all of your potential for peace, joy, and creation exists in one place and one place only, right here, right now. The present moment is the point of power. Coming back to the present is a practice, and honestly, it's simpler than you think. It's about engaging your senses to anchor yourself in the here and now. I want you to try this with me. Right now, notice 5 things you can see. It could be the light hitting the wall, the texture of your desk, the color of your shirt. Now notice 4 things you can feel. The weight of your body in the chair, the air on your skin, the texture of your clothes. Notice 3 things you can hear. The hum of a computer, a distant bird, the sound of your own breathing. 2 things you can smell. And 1 thing you can taste. This simple sensory exercise instantly pulls your awareness out of the chaotic stories of the past and future and grounds it in the tangible reality of the present. It's a technique you can use anywhere, anytime you feel overwhelmed. Your breath is another powerful anchor. The breath is always happening in the now. You can't breathe in the past or the future. By simply focusing on the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body, you bring yourself home. The present moment is a sanctuary, a refuge from the storms of the mind. It is where peace is found and where all change begins. We live in a culture that glorifies motivation. We watch inspiring videos, listen to pump-up music, and wait for that lightning bolt of motivation to strike before we take action on our goals. We think we need to feel ready, to feel inspired, to feel motivated to go to the gym, to write that book, or to start that business. But here's the truth I've learned. Motivation is a fickle and unreliable friend. It comes and goes like the weather. Some days it's there and it feels amazing. But many days it's nowhere to be found. If you rely solely on motivation to build the life you want, you will live a life of inconsistency. You'll work on your goals only when you feel like it, which is often not enough to create any real momentum or lasting change. The real secret to success and transformation is not motivation, it's habits. Habits are the invisible architecture of our daily lives. They are the actions you take on autopilot, regardless of how you feel. The person who is physically fit isn't the one who is always motivated to go to the gym. It's the one for whom going to the gym is a non-negotiable habit, like brushing their teeth. Think about it. Your current life right now is a sum total of your existing habits. The way you think, the way you eat, the way you work, the way you relax. These are all patterns, systems you have built over time. Motivation is what gets you started, but habits are what keep you going. Motivation is a spark, but habits are the fire that burns day in and day out. The question is not, how can I get more motivated? The real question is, what systems and habits can I build that will support my goals even on the days I have zero motivation? So if habits are the foundation of our lives, how do we build better ones? The mistake most of us make is trying to do too much, too soon. We get a burst of motivation on January 1st and decide we're going to meditate for an hour, run 5 miles, and read 50 pages every single day. By January 15th, we're exhausted and overwhelmed, and we've given up completely. This all-or-nothing approach is a recipe for failure. The key to lasting change is to start small. Ridiculously small? So small that it's almost impossible to say no. This is the power of atomic habits, a concept popularized by James Clear. Instead of trying to meditate for an hour, start with 1 minute. Just one. Instead of committing to a full workout, just put on your gym clothes. Instead of writing a chapter, write 1 sentence. The goal is not to achieve a massive result on day 1. The goal is to make the habit stick. It's about casting a vote for the person you want to become. Every time you perform that tiny habit, you are reinforcing a new identity. You are not just meditating for 1 minute. You are becoming a person who meditates. Over time, these small, consistent actions compound. That 1 minute of meditation becomes 5, then 10. That 1 sentence becomes a paragraph, then a page. It's not about the intensity of your actions. It's about the consistency. Small daily improvements are the path to stunning long-term results. So I ask you, what is one small, almost laughably easy habit you can start today? What is the 2-minute version of the goal you want to achieve? Don't focus on changing your whole life overnight. Focus on winning this one day. Change your habits and you will inevitably change everything. Your past is a book. Read it. Don't live in it. You know, the past can feel like a heavy anchor, weighing us down and keeping us from sailing into new waters. We carry our past mistakes, our past hurts, our past failures with us everywhere we go. Sometimes, we replay old conversations in our minds, wishing we had said something different. We dwell on decisions we made years ago, wondering, what if? This is what it means to live in the past. It's honestly like trying to drive a car forward while staring intently into the rearview mirror. You're bound to crash, and you'll never see the beautiful road ahead of you. However, completely ignoring the past isn't the answer either. The past is not a prison, but it is a powerful teacher. It's a book filled with stories and lessons that are uniquely yours. The key is to learn how to read the book without getting stuck in its pages. To learn from the past is to extract the wisdom from your experiences. What did that painful breakup teach you about your own needs in a relationship? What did that career failure reveal about your true strengths and passions? What did that mistake show you about your values? The practice is to approach your past with the curiosity of a student, not the judgment of a critic. Acknowledge what happened, feel any emotions that are still there, and then consciously ask, what is the lesson here for me? Once you have the lesson, you can close the book and place it back on the shelf. You honor the past by integrating its wisdom into your present, not by endlessly reliving its pain. Your past informs who you are, but it does not have to define who you are becoming. Let it be your reference library, not your permanent residence. Triggered by others? That's a reflection. Have you ever had a disproportionate emotional reaction to something someone said or did? Someone makes a seemingly innocent comment, and you feel a surge of anger or a deep pang of hurt. This is what we call being triggered. Our immediate instinct is often to blame the other person. How could they say that? Or, they made me feel so angry. We see them as the source of our pain. But I want to offer a different perspective, one that is far more empowering. What if that trigger isn't about them at all? What if it's a reflection, a mirror showing you an unhealed part of yourself? Think of it like this. If you have a deep cut on your arm, even a gentle touch on that spot will cause immense pain. Is the touch the problem, or is the pre-existing wound the problem? The other person is simply the touch. The intense emotional reaction, the trigger, is pointing you directly to the location of your own inner wound. It's an invitation from your psyche to look inward and ask, what part of me is hurting right now? What old story or belief is this situation activating within me? When you start to see triggers this way, it changes everything. You move from a place of blame and victimhood to a place of self-awareness and healing. Instead of getting caught in a cycle of conflict with others, you can use these moments as opportunities for profound self-discovery. The next time you feel triggered, pause, take a breath, thank the person silently for showing you where you still need to heal. Then, turn your attention inward with compassion and ask, what is this here to teach me about myself? This is how you take back your power and begin the real work of healing. What you judge is what you haven't healed or accepted. Judgment is a heavy cloak to wear. When we look at others and criticize their choices, their appearance, or their lifestyle, it feels like we are establishing our own superiority. It creates a false sense of being better than. But judgment is rarely, if ever, about the other person. It is almost always a projection of our own insecurities, our own unhealed wounds, or the parts of ourselves that we have refused to accept. The things that we judge most harshly in others are often the very things we fear or deny within ourselves. This is the shadow self, and it's calling for your attention. Think about someone you judge. What specific quality bothers you? Is it their perceived laziness? Perhaps you judge them because you are terrified of being seen as lazy yourself, and you push yourself relentlessly to avoid it. Is it their loudness or their desire for attention? Maybe you judge them because a part of you longs to be seen and heard, but you've suppressed it, believing it's wrong or shameful. We create a rigid set of rules for how people should be, and we judge anyone who breaks them because they threaten the fragile structure of our own self-concept. This understanding is a gateway to incredible self-awareness and compassion. The next time you find yourself in a state of judgment, use it as a diagnostic tool. Instead of focusing outward on the other person, turn the lens inward. Ask yourself, what part of me is reflected in this person? What rule of mine are they breaking? What am I afraid of in myself that I am seeing in them? When you can see your judgments as signposts pointing back to your own inner work, the need to criticize others begins to dissolve. It is replaced by a desire to understand, to accept, and to heal. You know, we are obsessed with control. We try to control our careers, our relationships, our bodies, our futures, and even the people around us. We create these 5-year plans, manipulate situations, and worry endlessly, all in an effort to bend reality to our will. We believe that if we can just control everything, then we'll finally be safe and happy. But honestly, this is one of the greatest and most exhausting myths we live by. The truth is, we really have control over very, very little. You can't control the traffic, the weather, the economy, or what other people think, say, or do. The relentless pursuit of control, it's the root of so much of our anxiety, frustration, and suffering. It's honestly like trying to hold a handful of water. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. We end up spending enormous amounts of energy trying to manage the unmanageable, and it leaves us feeling depleted and powerless when things inevitably don't go according to our master plan. The need for control, it actually comes from a deep-seated fear of uncertainty. But uncertainty is the very nature of life. Life is a dance, a flow, an unpredictable journey. The spiritual practice of surrender is the antidote to this illusion of control. Surrender doesn't mean giving up or being passive. It means letting go of your rigid attachment to a specific outcome. It means accepting the reality of the present moment, even if it's not what you wanted. It's about doing your best, planting the seeds, and then trusting the process. It's about loosening your grip and just allowing life to unfold. There is an incredible peace and freedom to be found when you stop fighting with reality and start working with it. Let go and see what happens. So, if we can't control external events and we can't control other people, it's easy to feel helpless, right? It can feel like we're just victims of circumstance, tossed about by the whims of fate. But this is where the most important truth actually lies. While you cannot control what happens to you, you always have control over how you respond. In the space between stimulus and response, there is a moment. And in that moment lies your greatest power, the power of choice. This is the only true power you have, and honestly, it is everything. You can't control a sudden rainstorm, but you can choose to dance in it, get angry about it, or find an umbrella. You can't control a critical comment from your boss, but you can choose to let it crush you, to learn from it, or to see it as their own opinion and nothing more. You can't control a global pandemic, but you can choose how you spend your time, how you treat others, and where you place your focus. In every single moment of every single day, you are making decisions. You are choosing your attitude, your perspective, and your actions. This is the ultimate form of personal responsibility and the foundation of inner freedom. When you fully grasp that your power lies in your decisions, you stop being a victim of your life, and you become its co-creator. You stop waiting for conditions to be perfect, and you start creating your own inner state of peace and purpose, regardless of the external weather. So ask yourself constantly, what will I choose now? How will I respond to this? This is where you take your power back. It's not in controlling the world, but in mastering your response to it. We've journeyed through so many powerful ideas today, from our thoughts and emotions to our habits and responses, and it all culminates in this one final empowering truth. You are the architect of your life. Your life, as it exists right now, is a design. It might be a design you created unconsciously based on old programming, societal expectations, and past conditioning. But it is a design nonetheless. The incredible news is that at any moment, you can pick up the drafting tools and begin to create a new blueprint. You are not a passive observer of your life story. You are its author. Every day, with every thought you choose, every habit you cultivate, every boundary you set, and every decision you make, you are adding to the design. You are laying the foundation, raising the walls, and decorating the rooms of your existence. Do you want to build a life of purpose, peace, and connection? Then you must choose the thoughts, habits, and responses that are the building materials for that kind of life. It requires intention, consciousness, and courage. This is the ultimate invitation to step into your power. Stop waiting for someone else to give you permission. Stop waiting for circumstances to change. Take ownership. Your beliefs are your blueprint. Your habits are your tools. Your decisions are your daily construction work. Your life is your masterpiece, and it is waiting to be designed. You are the architect. What will you choose to build? The responsibility is immense, but the freedom it offers is immeasurable. We've covered a lot of ground today, and I just want to thank you for taking this time for yourself, for your growth. It's easy to feel inspired in this moment, to feel like you have the keys to unlock everything. But the real work, the real transformation, doesn't happen in a single moment of insight. It happens in the small, consistent choices you make every single day. This journey of building inner freedom is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice. It's about returning to these lessons again and again, especially when you feel lost, triggered, or overwhelmed. Think of this video as a map you can return to whenever you need to find your bearings. Each chapter is a landmark, a guidepost to help you navigate your inner world. When you feel angry, revisit the lesson on boundaries. When you feel anxious, remember to come back to the present moment. When you feel unmotivated, focus on building one small habit. This isn't about achieving perfection. It's about practicing awareness. It's about choosing, in this moment and the next, to be the conscious architect of your mind and your life. The journey to inner freedom is the most important one you will ever take. It's the path from being a prisoner of your circumstances to being the creator of your reality. The tools are now in your hands. The blueprint is laid out before you. The only thing left to do is to begin. Don't wait for tomorrow or for the right time. The right time is now. The power is now. Your masterpiece is waiting. Start building your inner freedom today.